Fake vegetarian on flight. Okay, so just to preface this, I'm a cabin crew member. Flight attendant. I've been doing it for over 10 years. Any issues that crop up during my workday I will bend over backwards to accommodate people, if I can. However, there are unfortunately a handful of people that are dishonest to try and get what they want. Fake injuries to try and get upgraded. Fake birthdays. You name it. People have tried it, and believe you me, I've had loads of scenarios where people try to cheat the system because it makes them feel special, or that they have one-upped me, I guess. Let me tell you about a fake vegetarian I had on board. He was flying in economy coach, in the second from last row. He wanted the pasta option. I apologized and told him due to popular demand we had ran out in the middle of the cabin, but we had the chicken option instead if he wanted they. Without skipping a beat he said, "I'm a vegetarian. Last time they brought me a meal from business class, so I will just wait for that." Now, this is something I would have offered anyway as a nicety, if available, as I'm not too much of a dick and I genuinely like helping people out, if I can. After all, it's a 747, not a 7-Eleven. As the saying goes, tears of joy. Anyway, the way he just expected it right off the bat before I could even offer a solution left a slightly bad taste in my mouth. And also I smelled a rat. I was 99% sure that I had cleared in an empty packet of smoky bacon crisps from him earlier on. And no, they weren't a veggie brand, as I have the same ones occasionally. I was certain that he was being picky and wanted a higher quality meal. Plus, any regular flyer would know how often we run out of the veggie option and to pre-order a veggie meal. I said, "It's unfortunate that you didn't pre-order a vegetation meal. I will see what I can do for you though. Just give me 5 minutes to finish up here." Grin. Anyway, I went up to business class. They had also ran out of the veggie option, so I went up to first class and asked if they could spare anything. We ended up putting a few leaves together with a bit of dressing. They spend £1,000s more up there and can dine at any time, so they didn't want me taking any of the hot veggie options in case someone wanted it later. Fair enough, man. Shrugging, light skin tone. Then I thought, I could probably have some fun with this fake vegetarian. Cue malicious compliance. I brought it back down on a silver tray and held it above his eyeline so he couldn't see what it was. I explained that unfortunately the vegetarian business class option had run out. Then he went to cut me off so he could complain, but I held up my hand and said, however, raised hand, light skin tone. Grin. I managed to go one step further and I got the last vegetarian meal from first class. Fearful face, party popper. Then I pulled the linen cloth off the top of the tray as I placed the salad down in front of him. It really was a very basic but large salad, and his face said it all, tears of joy. His face went from a smug, haha, I work the system, to WTF is that? Within 2/3 of a second flat. He then said, I wanted something hot. I'll just have the chicken then. I put on a shocked face and said, I cannot give you that, sir. I would feel awful. He responded with, don't worry about it. It's fine. I gave him an, are you sure you're vegetarian? Thinking face, look, and brought back the chicken, by which point it had been sat drying up in the oven a little bit longer. Bon appetite, winking face. Just to say, even if he was a real vegetarian, he should have pre-ordered. Same goes for gluten-free, vegan, children's meal, diabetic, etc. Anyway, that's my story. Sorry if I rambled a bit. Tears of joy. I love it. I am vegetarian and I always pre-order. And even with pre-ordering, some flights run out of vegetarian options. Sigh. I've never been offered anything more than a bag of chips as a sorry for that. You are a great cabin crew member for doing that for the vegetarians. And I loved this malicious compliance. I had a coworker who traveled over 100,000 miles a year. He knew which meals on which airlines were best and would pre-order them. Apparently the kosher option is pretty good. I traveled with my mother quite a bit from UK to New Zealand and found that pre-ordering her diabetic meal was a time saver. There was very little difference between her meal and my normal meal, but she usually ate some of mine as the flavors were too strong in the diabetic meal. She also would not turn down any ice creams that were handed out. I had to make sure she took her injections on time. One time she just did not travel well and was unable to eat any cooked food without bringing it back up. The wonderful British Airways flight attendant miraculously organized some freshly made sandwiches, which she wolfed down. I think the bread was from business class or the staff's own food. It turned out the attendant was also diabetic and knew how bad it could be. I pre-ordered the vegetation meal once. It was a plate of iceberg lettuce with a packet of dressing. I'd take a first-class salad over a coach chicken entree any day of the week. As a former SkyTeam frequent flyer riding 150K plus per year for 20 years, I applaud you. Rather, I stand and applaud you. I've a family now and barely make gold most years, but I still spend more time in the air than the average flyer, and there are days I cannot believe the entitled sobs y'all have to put up with, and more to the point politely put up with. Brilliantly handled. He got what he deserved. The player got played. Very entertaining and well-written post, Ty. I'd call that chicken karma. Rolling on the floor laughing. On a trip on British Airways, they ran out of everything but bangers and mash. Not even the Brits in the seats behind me wanted that. So I told the FA I'd just pass on a meal, and she brought me some bread and a couple little bottles of gin. Lol. I lived. Bread solved the hunger problem, and gin took care of the rest. As an actual vegetarian who has gotten screwed out of more than one meal when the non-vegetarians go for the vegetarian option, thank you. Too bad we just ran out of chicken. Do you want the beef waffles? Hey up, I have a question for you about meal options. I often see vegan options, gluten-free options, but is there ever a possibility to get vegan and gluten-free? I have a gluten allergy and dairy makes me violently ill and I can't meat etc. I would obviously order in advance. Order a Hindu meal. Best ever. I am not vegetarian, but I'm very picky about the meat, eggs, and dairy I do eat. So I'm basically veggie in most public places. Airplane meat is exceptionally disgusting, but you have to pre-order and plan ahead. I'm not a vegetarian, but I gotta say, I would love to have a large, basic salad on a plane flight. Best airplane food is the sandwich I bring from home. Not tuna, no onions. I fly a lot and I'm vegan, but sometimes I genuinely can't figure out how to pre-order. It's always different for different airlines. Some make you call versus doing it online, and sometimes I don't even know if the flight will have a meal on board. I wish I could just set my status somewhere and call it a day. As a regular Joe passenger, I can never imagine doing this to an attendant or any staff. Why do people act like this? I hate when people are presumptuous. Take my upvote. I've only been on 2 flights in my life, but never thought of requesting a diabetic-friendly meal. I'm technically not diabetic but insulin resistant. But it would be nice to be able to eat a full meal. I'm assuming diabetic meals don't come with carb foods.
If you enjoyed this video, Please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epicaricast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.